Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to today's profile. I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite decks from post Photon Hypernova and very strong deck for post Banlist. One of the decks that I'm going to be talking about right now is the Labrynth strategy. And I think with the new support called Big Welcome Labrynth, I think this deck is actually tier 1 and one of the strongest trap decks that the game have seen. I've been a big fan of trap decks, ever since I made my debut onto the professional Yugioh scene, you would say, with Altergeist. Another trap deck. I think this deck honestly is basically a different version of power crept Altergeist, or like an evolved form of that deck. And let's jump right into it and let's take a look into the strategy. If you guys are unfamiliar, you don't play that many monsters in this deck, and all the monsters aren't really bricks except for this one, which is a huge plus. You have triple Ariane, which allows you to add any Labrynth card from your deck to your hand, and whenever a monster leaves the field by your normal trap effects, which includes your own monsters being removed by a trap effect, you can draw a card and either choose to special summon a monster from your hand, that's a fiend, or set a spell and trap card from your hand, okay? And then you have Lady Labrynth, which is if you activate a Labrynth card or a normal trap card effect this turn, you can special summon from your hand in defense. And while you control this set card, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects. And it has a third effect where if you activate, or whenever a normal trap is activated, including yours or your opponent's, you can chain directly to it because it's a quick effect, it's a fast effect like Titan, to set any other normal trap from your deck with a different name directly. So a lot of the normal traps in your deck are quite honestly searchable as a result, and that's why you'll see that I have a bunch of one-ofs normal traps. And then I play one Lovely Labrynth, which is, I think, mandatory. It's a card that a lot of people have cut from their deck, but I think it's really good because your opponent cannot respond with monster effects to your normal traps activations, which are insane. So like they're up against Dragoon, like any sort of Omni-Negate monsters like Borreload Savage or anything like that. Barone, they just can't respond. Like, you just resolve whatever you want to resolve, which is, I think, crazy. And whenever you out one of your opponent's monsters or your own monsters by a normal trap effect, you can actually destroy a card in your opponent's hand or their field, which is absolutely nuts. So you can loop a card out of their hand or their field, non-targeting. And you can also you can recycle back any normal trap card in your graveyard, and set it, right? But it can't be activated unless you control a fiend monster, which, the entire decks are all fiends, so that's fine. And then I play one Clue Clock. I didn't think this card was that good when I first read it, but then I realized that this card is absolutely necessary because there's a lot of really sick combos you can do with this card, and it's searchable off of Big Welcome, because you can go Big Welcome, summon Clue Clock, bounce the Clue Clock back to your hand, trigger like your Lovely Labrynth or your Ariane, or you can even trigger like Lady Labrynth to set any trap from your deck, bounce the Clue Clock to your hand, and then use Clue Clock to activate that trap directly. So you can set like D-Barrier and then use it right away, which is insane. And I've been doing that a lot in my testing. Then I play double Duality and 3 Prosperity. And the reason why I play Duality is because of the fact that it synergizes really well with Sphere Mode. And then you have the Labrynth Field Spell, which is also really good because it makes all your Welcome Labrynth normal traps gain an extra effect to destroy an extra card on the field non-targeting. And whenever you activate a trap that it's not a Labrynth trap, you have the ability to non-target, reborn, or summon from your hand a fiend monster, which is really good because it allows you to recycle back your Labrynth monsters continuously. Then I play 3 Sphere Mode because I think this card is really good at outing the cash board. If your opponent tries to lock your back row, which is what I've been seeing that they're going to be attempting to do, Sphere Mode helps clear that, and I think Duality and Prosperity are really good at like grabbing this card and allowing you to still use it. And as a result, I don't main deck Lava Golem, which you technically could if you want to take out the Duality, but I think Duality being a starter on top of a way to board break your opponent, it's like kind of better. Whereas, if you play 3 Lava, 3 Golem, you might break. 3 Compulse, 3 Punishment. Compulse is really good because you can use it on your own monsters to like trigger your Labrynth monsters effects and turbo. Punishment because I just think it's one of the best +1 normal traps in the game. Because you're able to either get a draw off the new Link 5, which can send the Garua, or send in Tis, and that, like I said, it's just a +1 trap. Like, I really like +1 traps, like how I am. With the Purple Rain. You have D-Barrier, which is really good because I think decks like Sword Soul and Branded is going to be back into the metagame, so having decks like D-Barrier is really good. IDP I think is like definitely way better now because decks that are coming back into the metagame, like Dragon Link, like the Sun Avalon deck, Sword Soul, all those decks play decks of the same typing. So IDPs are really, really good at covering that. You play 3 Welcome Labrynth, which is, I think, insane because not obviously it teleports out a Labrynth monster, but it has an effect where it can reset itself from the graveyard if you out any monster by a normal trap effect. So you can continuously set this back and then you keep using it, and it's just like it's just like an insane +1. And it's like Sanguine, kind of. It is Sanguine, but it's Sanguine that keeps setting itself every turn. So like you just keep teleporting those monsters, and under the field spell you have like a pop every turn. And then you play Big Welcome, which is the newest trap card out of Photon Hypernova, and this card is literally the nuts. It has the first effect, which allows you to summon a Labrynth monster from a hand, deck, or graveyard and return 1 monster you control to the hand. So typically, like, I can show you some combos as well, but if you have like Lady Labrynth on the board, you can go Big Welcome, summon the Coup Clock, chain Lady Labrynth to set like any trap from your deck, pitch the Coup Clock, and use that trap card right away. You can also do something like turn 1. You can, if you open Ariane plus either Coup Clock or Big Welcome, I'll show you guys a combo like towards the end of this video. Okay. The second effect is if you control a level 8 or higher Fiend monster, you can actually target 1 card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Or you can target 1 Fiend monster you control and return it to the hand. So it's a way to trigger your Labrynth monsters in the graveyard because it's a normal trap effect, right? So even though it's not like a normal trap card being activated, the fact that it's a normal trap card effect in the graveyard is like really, really powerful at triggering Labrynth monsters effects. Even if like, you know, even if you don't have a trap card on the field. So it's like really, really good for that. I played 3 There Can Only One, but this can be anything, whatever you think the best thing is. I'm playing it for basically Sword Soul, and like, it's like decent to like Math Max. It's decent to like a lot of the other decks that I think people will be playing, but you can also play Gozen Match if you think that's good, or Rivalry, right? So those are your floodgates of choice. Just pick one. I play 1 Dino Mischief, 1 Darumidal Cannon, 1 Terrors of Overroot, and 1 Weight Measuring. I just like utility trap cards that are good for certain situations. Dino Mischief is really good to remove monsters or cards. And it discards for effect, which allows you to recycle back the Coup Clock from the graveyard. Darumidal Cannon is used to be out like towers, so I wanted to have 1 in the deck. So if your opponent plays Ignisters or Mathmex or whatever, and they make like an arrival, you kind of want to have this in your deck, so you can use it to out. It's also really good against Cash by booking their entire board. Weight Measuring is really good against decks like Cash as well. Like a lot of times they control a lot of monsters. So if they control more than 2 monsters than you, they send their entire board, so they only control 1. So it's like a really, really good nuke. And then Terrors of Overroot I like because also get into the Cash matchup because you can send one of the monsters on the field and then set another monster from their graveyard if they like can't trap you with Ash or something. And then now, like, because they control a set monster and they can't get rid of it, they're basically going to be stuck under the set monster and they're going to be unable to keep playing. So just a bunch of utility cards that are, you know, I think good. So that's a 40 card main deck. Also, shout out to Pranks. He was a person on Discord. He was a person who like reached out to me to like look into his deck, so I did, and he gave me some suggestions on the deck as well. So I was just giving some credit there. Anyways, let's get into the extra decks. Pretty standard: triple Elentis, triple Garua, triple Boofless, which is, you know, punishment targets. Boofless, if you guys don't know what it does, is when it's sent to the graveyard, you can send another beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast from your extra deck to the graveyard. So that allows you to have punishment work for 3,500. And send Garua to draw a card. So that's like really really insane in my opinion. And then you just play like a bunch of like Zeus packages. So you play like Wave King Caesar, Marksman Tell, and you can make Machinex. The reason why you do this is because the welcome cards lock you into Fiend monsters. So but these are Fiend Xyz, and that's why you'll see most of my Xyz are Fiends, like on Exciton Knight and Baguska, and then you play the 1 Zeus. But you can make like a 4 material or 5 material Machinex, or a 4 material Machinex pretty easily. So it has 2 effects, you know, it can like take twice. So it's pretty decent, not the worst. And then for the side deck, 3 Anti-Spell, 3 Judgment. Pretty obvious. When you go first, you want those type of cards when you're playing a trap deck. 3 Evenly Matched, because I think it's a really good card to grab off Duality Prosperity post side to like out your opponent's board. Metaverse, Zombie World, Necro Valley, because you can search Metaverse and play any of these to like, you know, against, you know, any of those like annoying decks. Like I think Zombie World is a really good, for example, against like Sword Soul. So I think like that's like pretty decent. Or like just like I just wanted to have these as an option. And then 3 Lava Golem, just for like decks that makes a bunch of Omni Gates. You're gonna have to like side this card in and take out dualities, because you just need these type of cards to hard draw. But now let me show you guys some combos. I know like this sounds weird talking about combos in a trap deck, but I just want to show you guys some of like the combos that you can do. Okay, so if you open up Ariane, let's pretend you open up Ariane plus either the Clue Clock or let's say Big Welcome, right? You're gonna go normal summon Ariane and use the effect to add Clue Clock to your hand, and then you can set Big Welcome, activate Clue Clock, which allows you to activate a set trap the turn is set. And now you're going to summon Lovely Labrynth and then bounce Ariane back to your hand. Because a monster got removed by a trap effect, you can use Lovely Labrynth effect to loop a card out of their hand. And then, now they're starting with 4 cards. And then you can use this effect to reset back this Big Welcome Labrynth, okay? So on your opponent's turn, you can use this effect again. And now you can summon... what do you call it? You can summon Ariane if you want again, or I usually summon this card, which is the Lady Labrynth. Bounce the Lady Labrynth, and then trigger this again to loop another card out of their hand. So now they're starting with 4 cards, and then you can use this to summon itself back because a Labrynth monster's effect or Big Welcome was activated this turn. So you see, like, I basically ripped 2 cards off the hand, and I put myself to have guaranteed follow-up with Ariane. And yeah, that's like pretty much that. Like seems pretty simple. So that's like the main reason why I wanted to play the clock. Another cool thing that you can also do is, let's say you open. Oh, this hand is pretty good. Let's say you open up like, let me show you an example. If you open up like Big Welcome plus Lady Labrynth, what you can do is you can like have Lady Labrynth summon on your starting turn. So like if you open like Ariane, you can like go normal summon Ariane, search Lady Labrynth, special Lady Labrynth, pass. You can go Big Welcome and then chain Lady Labrynth to set any trap directly from your deck. Okay, so you can set like Dimensional Barrier, and then you summon the Clue Clock. This is why this card is really good. Bounce it back to your hand, and then you can go chaining 1 Ariane to draw 1 and then set 1. Right, so you can draw a card and then set it. And then you can use Clue Clock to use either the barrier you set or the card you drew and set off of Ariane on your opponent's turn. So you see how like I'm basically able to tutor out any trap of my choice and have it be live immediately because of the clock. But that's why I think with the inclusion of Big Welcome, this clock card is really good. And like you can also do something like use Dynamis, right? Like you can set Dynamishes as well. And if you use Dynamishes, this card says, if a card is sent from your hand to the graveyard to activate your normal trap card or your Labrynth card or effect, right, while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card back to your hand. So Dynamishes will not work, I believe. So you need to play like Wing Blast or something like that. So I think that's like the only thing that you can maybe consider changing, like Dynamishes and play Wing Blast instead. So yeah, that's something important to know. Other than that, that's pretty much like the combo. Yeah, I think the deck is really good. There's also some cool lines to like OTK your opponent on the next turn with like Welcome Labrynth if you use it, because you can then set it after you out one of your monsters. So like it's like guarantee like Sanguine to kill your opponent on the next turn. Overall, the deck is really cool. I really like it. I think it's like one of those trap decks you should look out for, and I definitely think this is one of those tier 1 strategies that if you're not familiar with, you definitely should get familiar with. And that's gonna be pretty much it for the video. If you have any suggestions on how to make the deck better, any thoughts you have on your own deck list, any suggestions for normal traps that you like to add, and all that good stuff, let me know in the comment section below, and let me know your thoughts about this trap deck, if you're excited for it or not. But as always, guys, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.